Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I just want to say thank you to all the positive, for all the positive feedback on my last videos. I really do appreciate that. This week's is personality discussions. So question one, what are the significant similarities and differences between personality clusters? So I think by what I took from it, some of the similarities are that they could all have co-occurring diagnoses. So that's what I got from that part of it. Now the differences, there's quite a few differences between each one. So cluster A is paranoid personality disorder, schizoid disorder, and schizotypal disorder. And it says they have a greater grasp on reality. They are persistent, suspicious, they generalize mistrust, they're paranoid and delusions, and they search for threats and dangers to validate their fears and biases from the outside world. The other one is they lack interest in social relationships. They lead a solitary lifestyle, restricted emotional experiences, extreme discomforts with having a social connection with people. There's just the other one would be like they have distorted cognition and perception, and with paranoia and psychosis. Cluster B would be antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic disorder. So the first one, difficulty relating to other people. They can be dramatic and overly emotional about their thinking and behaviors. The antisocial is disregard of other people, leading to like deceit, manipulation, and aggression. There's lack of empathy and bloated self-image. Borderline personality disorder is unstable, intense emotions, frequent angry outbursts. They act on impulses, and their instability in their lives and relationships. And they also have an altered sense of empathy. And the histrionic, they have excessive emotional, their egocentrism, their attention seeking. They have behavior. They have extreme desire for approval and inappropriate seduction. The narcissistics is craving for admiration. They have feelings of self-importance. They have lack of empathy as well, and they spend time daydreaming about themselves, and they want to achieve power and status. And cluster C is avoidance disorder, dependent disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. So the first one is consider themselves to be unappealing. They avoid social interactions. They have fear of being ridiculed or humiliated. Social anxiety is feelings of inferiority and extreme sensitivity of rejection. Dependent disorder, they have psychological need to be cared for by others. They're have extreme passivity and subversive submission of feelings of devastation when a relationship ends. And avoidance says they have avoidance of responsibility as well. So obsessive disorder is perfectionism. They have an excessive need for like orders, like everything has to be neat, perfect, and in order. They have a hard time complying with rules, and everything has to be like, they have to have orderliness, or it can cause them to have excessive anxiety and fear. So number two, in watching the video, discuss these points. Why do you think there are significant similarities in cluster B? I kind of had a hard time understanding this question, but by what I got from it is that they are all grouped together because they share traits and behaviors. And it's so cluster B, it says, is also is also one of the rarest, with only 1.5%, and that they all have their own unique symptoms. And B, why would it be important to understand the differences between cluster C? Well, it says that it's the worried group and it's superficial, and that they only sometimes come to clinical attention. And it says that they are reliant upon other people to live their life on their own. They depend on others for making decisions for them. Let's see. It says OCD, they're neat, controlled, orderly. They can't complete tasks. But they still have the avoidant one, the avoidant disorder. They have avoidance of other people, but they still do desire human contact. But they also have self-doubt and fear of disapproval. So I'm hoping I kind of got, that's what I got from A and B. But it also says, why would it be important to understand the differences between cluster C disorders? And I think that it's important to understand the differences so that way it helps you to diagnose which disorder that the person may have out of the cluster C disorders. So, you know, they could have avoidant disorder, they could have dependent disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. So it's important to kind of know the difference in those, so that way when you do make a diagnosis, that you're diagnosing them with the correct one. So 3, from a psychological viewpoint, can someone have co-occurring diagnoses within the personality clusters? If so, what are the combos and why? So I think that they could have co-occurring diagnoses with having one of the cluster disorders. They could have a dual diagnosis, like they could have ADHD, they could have anxiety, they could have addiction, they could have mood disorders, PTSD, etc. And so it says why. So why it could be based off their gender. They could have a family history. They could have had lack of social support in their life. That could cause them to have another co-occurring disorder or a co-occurring diagnosis. And they could also have like a history of trauma and abuse, which also could have led to a co-occurring diagnosis. So that's what I got from question 3. I hope that when I read question 2 and gave my answers to it, that it made sense. That's just by what I got from question A and B. So I'm hoping that it was correct, but I just want to say thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.